Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai tauti mai ki Taupomoana record keepers. It is the 4th of December 2022. You're in the company of Jeffrey Addison, Te Whaitaima Te Whare and Perry Fletcher. Today, or this afternoon, we are at Wharewaka and we're just going to have a look at the after effects of a recent kind of lake eruption. I think it's called a seiche. But anyway, over to you, Perry. Let's go and have a look, eh?
Right, well, I haven't had to have a look. Half a second micro glance around, I could see the whole pattern distribution of where we've been standing here. We would have been swept off our feet. So here we've had a serious jolting earthquake, and that was centred near Horomatangi in the island. And it was such things in the past that the Maori, when you got a calm lake, suddenly it's boiling, surges and that they had the world of the Maori attributed to a taniwha as the disturbance to cause that. So it's very much the explanations now that if we hadn't had the science, we'd be saying what caused this. If we're in a world that was world that didn't had to have a religious or mystical explanation for us ordinary events. So very much interpretation of a natural event into the world of the Maori was no more than in Europe or other places hundreds of years ago to explain these things. Now in this here, if we look around, I can see where the water comes surging through here, and over here past the bus you can see where it went up to. See all that that pattern, wavy pattern of yellow grass?
Yes.
That's where it came up to.
Wow.
As far as 40 metres in here, and you cast your eye around and get the wavy pattern come here, dunk dunk dunk, and right over there.
Why do you think it's killed the grass?
No, it deposited silt and pumice. So when we walk carefully and look around, they haven't picked up every piece, you'll be able to get the physical evidence of it. So this happened on the other side. I believe that the camp they had at 5 Mile Bay there, well, it wasn't being occupied.
No.
So they would have, if it's very low, which it is, wonder if they would have been a bit of washout.
In the firing line. Apparently the land has subsided 20 metres of the foreshore has subsided. So
Yeah.
we can go and find that.
Yes, that would be great. Small surge that didn't affect anywhere else. It must cause a ripple though across the lake.
Yeah, well imagine that's quite a tonnage of land that's dropped down, so that, yeah, where's that? Must have gone that way. But this is the only place I think where it's been recorded as having an effect. Because yeah, it's dropped a long way. Over there. 20 metres they reckon, it doesn't look that far out. But that's a lot, 20 metres. That's out to those rocks, 20 metres. Surely it hasn't dropped that much.
It might have.
Wow.
They don't have their measurements.
Well, I suppose you can see grass all the way out there. So at least
Probably right out extent of that grass. The history of this area involves the point to high area behind us. Right, before we go on our next journey this afternoon, we're at a place called Te Kowhai
Te kowhai.
Kahu.
Te kowhai a kahu.
Now for here, there was a big battle took place, and in a result of that, they then attacked an area on the other side of the bay here, and they took...
For that place? What's the timeline approximately when it went down?
The timeline here starts timelining in with names in our previous journeys involving people like Rangi Patoto, about 1800,
yes,
or before that time, just before that time. And so I may as well read the notes.
Yes.
But this place was assaulted by a person called Te Teko, and Te Teko had a pa at Rotunaro. When we access, that comes a part of history there, and that history and jigsaw brings in other people, other groups and relationships. And Te Teko was displaced from here over to Hawke's Bay, but like Te Momo in his time, in a later time. So with that, when Te Teko came here, he assaulted and took over this place, and then he went over and he took two wives from Tamatetawha, two wives, and one was Urututo and the other one was Rohoto. And with the wives, they captured and took them to the other side, and they brought them back here to this place. Now, when the husband of the wives came to get them back or fetch them back, never mind the fighting that taking place here, and one of the wives was allowed to return, but the other one was already promised to a chief in that fighting party, so the husband only got one wife returned in exchange for a dogskin cloak. Property was property, you know, it's like the value of a horse and that in those days. So here I'll just give a brief here. The assault here, a battle called
Manuka Karuia.
Manuka Karuia.
That's
Can't see much Manuka these days.
one time, early in the days, the deer were all walking between it, right through getting water from the lake here. They'd come off through the scrub and that here. So that's the name of the place, the name of the battle that took place here. And they didn't abandon the place. They used it so the two wives were taken, Te Tetawaha's wives, and they were taken back to Wharewaka by Te Teko, and this is where the dog skin was exchanged to release one of the wives, one of the women.
Which one?
The one was taken. It was already given to another chief, and that was Urututu.
For which the bay's named across the way there.
Yeah, yes. So that, when you look at the whakapapa timelines and everything, with our talks over there, here, where we can index, collate and everything else, the histories will start coming together.
So can you just speak a little bit to this place here? Of the wharenui? Of the wharenui that was here?
In front of us.
The
You
wharenui,
can't see anything from here. We have to go over.
I could walk and stand in there just to get,
Yeah.
or Jeffrey.
Well, you'll still be picked up on the mic wherever you stand.
I just want to get into the shade myself and not get anybody else.
So where we've gone inland with a little more remaining, whether it's down Pukawa or other places, you'll come across a big area like this, all in isolation. But if it's recorded or ignored in isolation, which is done with the council's contract archaeologists and others, the whole context of the area is lost.
This must have been a big whare. Almost feels circular, doesn't it? It's not in the same shape as many of the other ones.
Well, did they have to be? Some of the oldest artists' impressions up north in Maori showed some places quite circular.
Yes.
In the art and the artwork and that there. So Te Kowhai Koho, this was this high point at the Moana Meeting House, and this was a place that was overrun and assaulted. But the chief that did that, he had place at Rutanairo, Te Teko, and between his association with Hawke's Bay, and his grievance was against Tamamutu, later Tamamutu, hence Tamamutu bringing back the seedling from the battles and that from Napier, Hawke's Bay area, and planting it to Hallett. So suddenly, botanical and others, the stories start linking, and the times and the people and that all start linking together. And even the battle that took place here didn't mean it was sacked and abandoned. It was reoccupied to capture two of the wives to bring them back here. And they'll ransom out. Oh, there were many other prisoners taken, not from here, but from the battle, the fighting took place on the other side of the bay. So that links together.
So and Te Tawha's pa at that time, where was he living?
Yes, well, Te Tawha's had occupations over there at the time. Yeah. But this is just a part of a follow-up from our previous visit, and today we're just looking at the aftermath of a collapsed area through an earthquake. Extremely localised area of a collapse and water displacement onto the shores here. So from there we'll now go into the Great Bush.
The Great Bush of Okipe.
Should we do a wind up just of this bit? Can you just wind up of this bit?
Alrighty-o. Well, we're going to, as Perry says, decamp from this old camp and go to another old camp just up the hill.